Changing the belts on an EF with power steering. First is the bolt on the front of the power steering hitch. You completely remove it. It's a 12 millimeter. Second bolt is on the back side of the power steering. It's 14. Just loosen it. Then you push the power steering pump down, remove the belt, and it should slide right off. And you see how it slides back. Now you remove that top bolt completely, specifically to pick up the power steering pump with the hoses still attached, and slide it off to the side so it's out of your way. Next is for the AC tension pulley. My belt broke, so you see it's not on there, but right on the front of it is a 14 millimeter bolt. You got to loosen that. And then you look down right next to uh, the motor mount. You see this 10 millimeter bolt. You're going to loosen that a bunch of turns, like 10, 15 turns, and you'll see that the pulley will move up and down. The belt should come right off at that point. Next is the alternator bolt. This is the one that's on top. It's a 12 millimeter. You're just going to loosen it. You're not removing it. Then you take the tire off. You go down to the bottom of the alternator. There's a 14 millimeter bolt that you also just loosen. You do not remove it. You're doing this so that when you pull on the belt like this, it'll move the alternator, and now the belt should just slide off. These are the three belts: power steering, alternator, and AC compressor. First, the alternator one goes back on first. I hook it around the hook it around the pulley of the alternator, and then slide it around. What you're trying to do right here is make sure that it's going to the farthest back portion of the pulley, or matches the amount of ribs on the pulley and the belt. It's trying to get it to sit right there where it's supposed to. Next is, you kind of hard to see, but I'm pushing on the alternator from the top to then tighten that 12 millimeter bolt on top to fully tension the belt. You'll also tighten the 14 millimeter on the bottom when you're done doing that. This is me fishing the AC compressor belt up through the bottom, as you can see, trying to get it all on. But what I wanted you to show is I had to reach under the car with my hand to get it to go down to the top, and then over the top to get it to slide over perfectly. The next thing that you're doing is that 10 millimeter that was on top of the tensioner pulley, you're now tightening it, and I'm doing it with an impact right, or a electric ratchet, to show it getting tighter and tighter and tighter until you can feel it, that you try to turn the belt and it'll only go 90 degrees down on the bottom, but see, it goes all the way to the top like it's supposed to. Then you tighten that 14 millimeter on the front of the pulley again, so it tightens up against the adjustment screw. Now you're putting the power steering pump back in, just sliding it where it goes. The first bolt that goes in is that top bolt. I just try to get it about hand tight, not all the way tightened down, but enough that you can pivot off of it. And this one is the bottom bolt. It's kind of hard to put in, but you pull the power steering up about halfway now that the top one's in, and you can find the hole. So now you see that I fish it through the top to get it to sit perfectly on the top, and then I go back under and slide it onto the furthest place on the pulley on the bottom. Then you see I pick it up, put it down. I just pick it up as far as it'll go, and then tighten that 12 millimeter down at the bottom again, and then tighten the 14 millimeter on the side. All those belts are listed in the description. Right now I'm starting it because I wanted to hear if any of the belts aren't tight enough or are too tight. They'll squeal real loud. So I go ahead and start the car right here. It's starting now, doesn't have any squeals. So we go ahead and bolt the wheel back on. And if there's any questions or concerns, please comment.
Thank you.